life totals figured out here. We're going to stay with Jesse here going into round 2.
It's going to be Jesse against Angelo here. So getting to see 2 games with Angelo here.
Yeah, Angelo's deck, once again, looked very solid.
Very strong. That sort of like Selesnya
Mounts deck.
Yeah.
But
and I think he's maybe splashing black for some Honest Threat Steam type nonsense.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Abzan's a good place to be in this format. But, of course, it just seemed like kind of a poor matchup against Roman's all-removal deck.
Yeah.
You know, all-removal and card draw.
Roman's sort of like a wall of creatures preventing him from being able to draw or do anything.
I'm going to go adjust the camera just a little bit.
Yeah, getting a little bit of a glare there. Looks like he's got a Blood Hustler down. Is that a Blood Hustler? I'm having a hard time seeing, but it does look like a Blood Hustler and a... is that a Desperate Bloodseeker? No, that is a... Yes, that is a Desperate... No, Raven of Fell Omens? I'm having trouble. The Blood Hustler doing 1/1, and it grows whenever you commit a crime once a turn, and it also has an ability. So if the growth each turn was not enough, it can drain your opponent, target opponent, so notably committing a crime there. Looks like both players are playing a certain amount of life gain in their deck, so it could be a sort of a slower match that Outlaw Medic, not necessarily encouraging life gain, but definitely has lifelink and will draw you a card when it dies. And I'm getting a little bit of a glare on that second card on Jesse's side. It's a Blood Hustler and is that a Desperate Bloodseeker?
I'm sorry, there wasn't much I could do about it.
That's okay.
Let's say yes.
Let's say yes. It may be a Raven, too. I don't think a Desperate Bloodseeker would be swinging here, so maybe just a Raven of Fell Omens and a Bloodseeker. It's going to pay 4, pump it up, and kill probably the
Sentry.
The Sentry here. There'll be some gains and losses here.
So he's going to go to...
Do
we know what the life totals are?
I don't. I feel like... there's a drain happening here and 1 life. So I think if they were at 20/20, Matt should be at 18 here.
Well, it looks like Jesse played a desert as well.
Oh, yeah. Let me go check in on what the life totals are. I know. We lost him. We're getting started.
It is a Raven up there. Okay, we got it. Got it. Thank you. And this is actually round 2. Let me get that updated as well.
Perfect.
Appreciate you.
Of course.
And it looks like Matt is swinging in for 1 on the crackback
here. Nice lifelink creature swinging back here. It's got a flying creature in the air. It's not going to be able to block anyway.
Oh, wait, this isn't Matt. This is Angelo. Sorry. Oops.
And the Prosperity Tycoon coming down is quite nice. Making a mercenary with the double block. It's a very difficult creature to deal with, especially if you manage to untap with it. A little bit vulnerable right now, but very nice. Does that Prosperity Tycoon, can he sack a token or just a non-token? Do you know?
Any token, I believe.
Is it any token?
Yeah.
So he wouldn't be able to sack his Outlaw Medic
No,
in order to draw the card. I was like, I think it's just tokens.
I don't think... White doesn't seem like the sack anything sort of color.
Yeah, it's not. That's why I was asking. I was like, trying to think if he could get that extra card draw if he needed it, but unfortunately not. Though there is that sort of black-white sacrifice mechanic that is in this set. That's kind of the archetype, right? So,
looks like a Raven got in for 1.
Raven got in for 1. Raven doing its due diligence here, getting the pings.
No, that's not in the set. Due diligence was the last set.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry. In the murder mystery clue themed.
MKM seems like so long ago.
I
at this
know,
point
it's
already.
crazy, and it really wasn't.
No.
Like, it wasn't even 2 sets ago. Like,
okay, this is nice being able to pump up the lifelinker with the mercenary.
Pump up the lifelinger makes it get in here nicely. It'll gain him some life. So I'll set Angelo up 17-14. It's going to be a little bit of a back and forth as we gain life, drain life, gain life, drain life here, I think. But the Ariat's Lullaby for an extra gain and getting rid of one of the pesky flyers and drainers there. You take those opportunities when you can with Ariat's Lullaby, especially
in a more aggressive deck.
Exactly.
You just kind of, the second you have a target for it, you shoot it off.
You shoot it off. I'm really liking that play from Angelo, actually. Yeah, the fact that it only hits tapped creatures is definitely a hindrance, but it does get rid of anything, so it can be exactly the card that you need in the right position.
It's team draft playable for sure.
Absolutely. We were having a discussion earlier about how a lot more cards are very good in team draft, and I think that is one of them that gets a huge bump up in power.
Dance of the Tumbleweeds is another one I would put in that category as well.
Oh, absolutely. That Dance of the Tumbleweeds, I think, is
gets a desert.
One of Green's best commons, I would say.
Gets a desert, triggers the
triggers
Blood
a
Hustler.
crime. Yeah. If you have a Conduit Pylons, it can give you a little selection. Like, it is just a very flexible card too. And obviously, you want to be doing it for 6, but the fact that you can do it for 3 to ramp you into 5 mana is also very nice.
Yep.
One of the things that I think Green does especially well in this format is just have big creatures. It wasn't always true in MKM, but definitely is true here. One of my favorite cards in the format I don't think we've seen from any of the decks today, which is that uncommon Armadillo.
The Spinewoods.
Yes.
Armadillo, I believe.
As I mentioned it, the Sephiroth theme song comes on in the background here.
Certainly appropriate for that card, also in contention for Mythic Uncommon.
Absolutely.
The set.
Some fast plays here from Jesse and Angelo. Lots of back and forth.
Yeah, I think they're both
laser locked
they're
in
both
on their
pretty fast players
game
in general.
plans,
So when you get to and he's going to dance right back at him.
Dance right at him.
Dance all night.
Was that a 5 mana dance or that was a 6 mana dance? I think that was a
guess
5 mana dance.
Yeah.
He did not have enough mana to do the search, so it only enters as a 5/5. No, he did have the 6 mana.
He is going to search now.
Yeah, he is going to search. Cool. I was like, he put it in first, so made me think, but no, thankfully.
It looks like that Pylons is indeed the only desert in Angelo's deck.
It does look like that is mostly the case from the Chump blockers that the majority of the deserts are in the High Noon Goons' decks. A very telling powerful card. Is that an Endless Detour?
Ooh, pretty good on. And the Veil.
And the Veil in response.
So
very
good.
Strong. Endless Detour, a very strong card in 3 colors. You don't see it very often, but would have forever dealt with that elemental. But unfortunately, now his elemental is an 8/8 against the 7/7 elemental.
So key that Dance brings in a single forest untapped there. With the Snakeskin Veil in hand. That's just a good feeling, honestly.
Yeah, that's great.
Angelo's
tapped out all of his mana, and then it comes in untapped. They probably had a discussion in R&D. Should this come in tapped? Should this come in untapped? And they said Angelo's going to need it during his finals. He's going to need that one untapped mana for the Snakeskin.
The resident WotC psychic
said,
someone will need this untapped forest someday in a key team draft.
That's right.
Final sort of scenario.
The LA Limited team draft finals.
I don't
have
think
the pre-cogs.
I don't think the psychic was that specific about it. I don't think they called us out specifically.
Yeah, that's true. It's quite nice.
Okay, so this is an 8/8. So this is an 8/7 attacking into an 8/8 here.
Yeah, so offering that trade, obviously. I might just let that through and block with the Outlaw Medic just to draw the card, gain the life.
That sounds good to me, yeah, for sure.
And then you don't have to worry about the 7/8 or 8/8 blocker there. Oh, we blocked with both, interestingly.
Oh, interesting.
Is he worried about a trade or a blowout?
He's just gaining the life.
He's just gaining the life, yeah. Get that extra life gain is good.
Wants to make the trade, but also wants to gain the extra life.
Go up to 16 there.
I guess that also plays around like a Snakeskin Veil.
That's right, yeah. I was going to say, any sort of like one extra power there. No Take Up the Shields as far as I've seen in any of the decks today, but some Snakeskin Veils definitely going around.
Yeah.
It's definitely something you have to worry about in this format. That 1 mana green can be very brutal.
Jesse down to his last card in hand, it looks like. Gives the turn back to Angelo.
With all the mana up, though, so that Blood Hustler is doing what it's sort of designed to do, which is that once you're out of cards, just use its ability, get bigger.
Yeah, very few mana sinks in general in this format.
Yeah.
And Blood Hustler, therefore, being just a premium one.
One of the best ones, yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think of any other like specific powerful mana sinks in this format. I'm not thinking of a ton of activated abilities.
It's like Prairie Dog, I guess.
Prairie Dog, yeah, Prairie Dog. There's that 1/3
Not a
reach
great one, though.
creature that deals 1 damage to an opponent in red. That's not a sink.
Yeah.
It's more like a short ditch.
Yeah, we're grasping at straws.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so does he have the mana to double
He's getting
activate
to pump
here?
on this Blood Hustler here.
He does have mana
does
to
have a good
double activate.
Yeah, double activate if he just doesn't play anything. So he may have some spells in hand and just holding out. Getting 4 damage in there is quite nice.
No, it sounds like
Maybe 5
he's
damage.
getting in and yeah.
Yeah, so he will do 1 extra for the activation there. Red Rock Sentinel as a mana sink. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like Red Rock Sentinel is a card that I've come up on quite a bit in this format.
I would agree. Yeah.
Especially with all of the big green creatures, you can get into that board position where there's not a lot to do. You're trying to top deck your removal spell to kill their armadillo or their giant flyer or their big rare bomb. And that Red Rock Sentinel, I think, does it for sure. Especially in like a team draft position, I would absolutely main board that Red Rock.
Is Red Rock Sentinel a? There's the Red Rocks music venue in I think Colorado.
Yeah.
Is the Red Rock Sentinel camped out there waiting for John Mayer to play or something like that?
Yeah,
Okay.
It'd be fun to build a statue of the Red Rock Sentinel at the Red Rocks.
I believe it is Bedrock Sentinel. That's why I said.
Oh, Bedrock Sentinel. Oh.
Here's our
a throw
first on-stream
from the
appearance
saddle.
of Throw from the Saddle.
One of the sort of monstrous removal spells in this format.
Yeah.
For sure. It gets a pump and a pump, so it's a 6/2, 6/3 dealing damage to that Blood Hustler, which will get the extra activation, but it will deal with that Blood Hustler, making Jesse's board state look pretty meek here. Angelo will get the extra life off the Outlaw Medic and get
7.
in for 7 damage, yeah. Setting Jesse to 3, unfortunately.
Or fortunately, depending on...
Yeah, it's true. Are there any cards that are beneficial to be at low life in this format? Not a ton. But fortunately for Angelo, that's for sure.
Yeah. Are we taking sides here? Am I...
Well, our featured draft
Am I
was,
forced to take the side
was
of-
on Roman's side, so I feel like we have to... No, I'm kidding, obviously.
We are sort of playing from the Goons perspective, I suppose.
Crossout was asking Vincent, who is subbing? That's Jesse. I'm not sure about his magic resume. There you go. But he seems to be doing an excellent job here in the draft.
No surprise, of course.
No, obviously.
Angelo swinging for lethal here, pumping the Outlaw Medic here
Lethal
to make sure
for
that
sure.
it trades for something.
Yeah.
So that Bloodseeker is essentially going to be trading for a mercenary token here.
But it'll
And
gain him some life back still. Just because it's not being destroyed, it doesn't mean that it's not dealing the damage. So he will go up to 5, but then back down to 2.
Figuring out the life total changes there. Angelo gains 2, Jesse gains 2 and loses 2,
Yep.
so stays at 3. Did something die? Did the Outlaw Medic kill something there?
I don't think so.
Why not? Should something have died?
Did we miss something? I'm trying to peer at his graveyard there.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Just a naked Rictus Robber there. Not what you want to see from that card, unfortunately. Not making its trademark zombie companion. Angelo applying a lot of pressure here with his Giant Beaver and his Tycoon, though notably the Tycoon does not have a token to currently sack, so it is vulnerable for the first time since it was resolved.
So Ranger Elm, are you a member of team? I believe Fistful of Mana. I think that's who we brought in Jesse against this season. Hey Glenn, what's up?
Yes, I'm Glenn from Fistful. Looks like one of our matches may have resolved over there. Roman maybe having taken the L.
I can see the look on his face. That's a classic.
Yeah.
Roman, I've lost face.
Yeah, I know.
which puts the Chumps up 3-1 now.
Yeah, they are definitely
and in a match-winning situation potentially here.
Giving our if they finish out with both of these wins, they will be a champions without needing to go to a round 3. So we will see how this plays out for sure. But I, for one, I'm hoping for a round 3.
Of course,
always like a close match.
Always, yeah.
We're 3-1 Chumps right now.
Yeah,
We're 3-1 Chumps.
I believe so. Okay, so this Beaver is getting saddled up. We're going to trigger and put a counter on probably the medic here.
Yeah, I would say the medic.
We're going to block everything.
Bunch of stuff in front of it.
And everything
trades. And looks like Angelo's got a second main. No cards in hand. All right, so it looks like both of our players in this match are in top deck mode.
This is Jesse staring down a lethal swing.
Yep. So he has to play at least something as a blocker. Passes with nothing.
Likely removal spell here that he's waiting for combat here.
We'll see. We'll see. He's attacking with everything against it.
This is still game 1, I believe.
So he's going to Tyrant Scorn the Outlaw.
And go to 1.
Go to 1. A dangerous position, and Angelo goes up to 15 with the lifelink, and another 3 up to 18 with the Spinewoods Paladin. A great flip for Angelo. Yeah.
We put that there just to make people feel dumb.
Really, exactly what Angelo
Jesse's
needed there.
Give up the
and that's just
there.
the scoop. 7 cards, hoping for a better hand here, just so that we get to see some good plays. Looks like he will keep this. A quick keep. That's good. Quick keep and an easy putback. Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much the best thing you can hope for.
And I can't see what that is, but I'm going to assume it's a land.
I'm going to guess
Swamp. Swamp and a mountain tap. And we get Raven of Fell Omens again, just coming out, just in love with Jesse over here.
Yeah, I think I was saying earlier, this definitely looks like a better matchup for Angelo's deck than Roman's.
Absolutely.
Jesse's deck is not full of big butts in general that we can tell, so Angelo's creatures' attacks stay relevant longer throughout.
Yeah.
And 2, Jesse just doesn't have the suite of removal that Roman did.
Jesse's small flyers and things that grow over time may not have the time to grow against Angelo's very aggressive, powerful mounts here. So a plotted Rictus Robber. Hopefully that will get to come out with its zombie here.
That sticky note strip is, of course, the universal symbol for the plot exile zone. And Angelo just
plotted as well.
Tossing his own card into the plot zone.
Tumbleweed Rising.
That's, of course, the other tournament-sanctioned method of displaying plotted cards. Is that a desert I see? Pinging for 2 here.
Pinging for 2. Set Angelo down.
And then another attack in the air. This Raven's getting done on its own.
Raven is doing its dirty business. It is a 5-point swing on this Raven so far. So Lots of good stuff coming in from that Raven, especially for a 2-drop.
Contemplating a second main phase play. That looked like a Desperate Bloodseeker.
Desperate Bloodseeker coming in. Yeah, looks like.
Is not going to get the
deciding
Raven
to
trigger off of
mill
this one.
his opponent is interesting. Feels like usually that's a bad idea, but
yeah, especially since he's already gotten the Raven trigger this turn, and he's got a couple of Mourner surprises in his deck.
Yeah, and he doesn't know that. If he was getting the Raven trigger, I support it, but especially that he knows that Angelo is playing black from his last game, so it's very likely that he's splashing for one of the many reanimate effects. I think that I would not. I almost never want to mill my opponent in this format.
Yeah,
unless I'm getting some sort of value out of it.
Yeah, exactly. Looks like Giant Beaver into Tumbleweed Rising is going to make another 4/4.
2 4/4s, suddenly presenting some threats.
Yes, sticky notes help you plot your plans. I guess there's some flavor.
He's going to sacrifice his Bloodseeker so that he can kill the Beaver and then play out the Rictus Robber. Similar play to what we saw last time.
That's another crime for the Raven.
Trading lifelink. That'll be at 15.
And then attack down to 14.
Down to 14.
And the robber makes a zombie.
Yep.
Okay, Jesse's certainly
presenting
coming back with a vengeance
the
here
beat
in
down
game 2.
here. This match for certain. Looks like we got 4 mana being tapped for. Ooh, lassoed by the law on the Rictus Robber.
So I don't believe
Jesse has any ways to deal with that lassoed by the law, does he?
It would have to be like a varmint or something, right?
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, the Lawbringer.
Oh yeah, the Ruthless Lawbringer. And
yeah.
he has 2 of those, so he could have that.
And Mourner Surprise. Okay, so this is Humiliate, I think.
Yeah, does look like a Humiliate. So he's going to get to take something, and it is a crime.
Triggers a Raven.
It is a crime there, so he's going to get to take something. I
think
be
Rutstein.
It's got to be Rutstein. There's nothing that you take other than Rutstein will prevent the Rutstein from getting it back. So I think that there's no choice here other than Rutstein. If you, for instance, because Humiliate doesn't exile, it just forces you to discard. So if he doesn't take the Rutstein here and he instead takes the Tycoon, all he has to do is play a land, and he can play both of them in one turn. So. Yeah. And he sees that, obviously, as the correct option. That Rutstein, an extremely powerful uncommon.
Then I have to imagine this Raven will be getting in for 2 in the air this turn.
Yeah. That extra counter from Humiliate, very relevant, hitting Angelo for another 2, setting him to 11.
Raven essentially dealing 3 damage a turn.
And we got
now.
that drain from the Humiliate as well.
I believe so, yes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Jesse coming in hot with the pressure in this match for sure.
Yep.
Especially knowing what he has in his hand.
What's Angelo's best play is to just play
Bighorn
here.
I think so. It's not like Jesse's going to be getting in on the ground, but if he's got any more crimes in his hand, he is in some hot water.
Or the Tycoon.
Tycoon,
one
too.
Of the 4 drops.
Double blockers, yeah, exactly.
Tycoon is going to do a good job holding down the ground here. Obviously not what you hope it to be doing, but at least you won't be taking any damage in addition to the Ravens.
That's true.
Tycoons.
That's true. Now, does the Bridal Bighorn have Vigilance?
It does, yes.
It does. I think I probably would have gone for the Bighorn here, just because being able to swing back a little bit and not worry so much. Like his ground creatures, Jesse's ground creatures here are not as strong.
That's true.
And the Tycoon and the Bighorn are about as good as each other at blocking here. He has the mana up to sacrifice it to make it indestructible, obviously. But I think that the way that Angelo can turn the tides a little bit is by applying this pressure, and I think that the Bighorn is better at doing that here than the Tycoon.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Interesting that Angelo left up the pylons here.
Yeah.
Does that mean he's got some
We
like
know
a
he has
skullduggery or something?
Yeah, I was going to say, we know he has a snakeskin veil, but I can't think of anything that would necessitate not leaving up. Yeah.
But you could have just left up a swamp as well.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he has that green in a swamp.
Interesting. I think my tendency is to just tap the colorless land. As soon as I can.
As soon as you can. Yeah, that's what I mean. First, not last. It's interesting. He also could be just sort of hoping, if he does have the skullduggery, he leaves open the green, and his opponent doesn't see that he has black up, right? I don't think we saw a skullduggery in his deck yet.
I would be surprised if it were in the main deck.
It is a strong card.
I think you could consider trying to snipe a Blood Hustler before it gets going or something like that.
Absolutely. That sniping the Blood Hustler with the skullduggery is quite strong. Let's see. Some dispute about what's going on.
We are thinking hard about this turn.
Yeah.
I think we're on Jesse's turn here.
I think it is Jesse's turn as well. He's stuck on 4 lands. That's just a little bit unfortunate for Jesse, it seems.
Okay, getting in with the Lawbringer.
He's going to swing in. So Lawbringer likely trades here.
So they're either offering a trade for a mercenary or they have some instant speed interaction.
It is interesting, yeah. I might put all of them in front of that Lawbringer. Just
interjection, about 5-minute last call on the food guy. So to pack it up if you want to, you got a couple minutes to go.
it's all good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I like putting all of them in front. That way, if there is a sort of blowout response, you can activate the Tycoon's ability, and it also offers him the mercenaries. But with all of that mana up, I would just be afraid that he has an instant speed interaction to the activation, which he has shown that he has in the past. But Mourner's surprising to get back here. It's good.
Good call, Ranger. I thought you just meant like a combat trick or something
that's what I'm
like
saying.
that.
Yeah, combat trick. If you just block with the Tycoon and then he activates the ability.
Oh, when in the chat he said I saw a surprise. I was like, ooh, what could it be?
What could it be?
What
surprise?
like Mourner's surprise. Okay.
Mourner's surprise. A literal surprise. Got some plays here. Angelo tapping and untapping his lands in order to think about how he's maneuvering this.
Perfectly allowed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Swinging for 8.
Block in front of there.
So Jesse did get in for 2 there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he'll sack that last token to give his Tycoon indestructible, kill the thing, and Jesse will take 4.
Getting some good value here off of the Tycoon, for sure.
Outcaster coming in. Is that 3 mana he was thinking of tapping and decided to do it after combat is usually the correct way to play.
So we know he still has the Bighorn in hand as well.
Mm-hmm. And an Outlaw Medic.
So the Bighorn is likely just his last card.
Yeah. I like that Outlaw Medic coming down, the pressure of the swings, the life gain a little bit, right?
Offset the Raven swings.
Yeah, those Raven swings are, 1 damage at a time, but can definitely get out there. It's definitely an interesting sort of matchup. Jesse representing a lot of threats with his Raven, his unanswered Raven here, but Angelo's board state's looking much better right now, anyway. Those big creatures proving problematic for Jesse's sort of like weenies deck.
I think Jesse being unable to find land 5 here is causing him to fall behind a little bit.
Absolutely. What does he kill with the Lawbringer? Do we know that Jesse has a Lawbringer in hand? If we do,
the lasted by the law.
probably
seems like
the lasted by the law to get back his Rictus Robber and trigger the ability again because of a sacrifice from the token would be.
Mm-hmm.
Going to tap how much? 5?
Oh, is that what he got back with the surprise? Yeah,
It does
that
seem
makes
like
sense.
it, yeah. He sacrifices the mercenary, gets that kill. Oh, he's going to hit the...
Ooh,
Interesting.
Maybe he doesn't know.
Worried about the pressure there. Or maybe he's just forgetting about that lasted by the lot, which would get him 2 ground blockers. Yeah.
Maybe...
Yeah, I don't know if he doesn't know that that's what would have happened, but his 4/3 would block that 4/4 quite nicely, and he would have a 2/2 zombie left over.
I think it's possible that he and Roman both forgot it hits any permanent, any non-land permanent there.
Because I think that we in the chat agree all that is probably the better target there.
When you have your full-time teammate saying, Jesse, no, that's certainly...
yeah, I know.
Certainly telling.
Sorry, Vincent. Maybe he missed out on you not being here this time.
Oh, I'm sure he did attack for 2 again.
Yes.
There, though, right?
And he got the crime committed when he did the Ruthless Lawbringer as well. So Angelo would be at 6 here.
So Jesse's still very healthy and still swinging for at least 2 a turn.
Potential forget. He's swinging again, setting him to 4. His life total looks good. Tell Angelo the game sucks. No attack with the medic. Yeah, I would have probably attacked with the medic as well. He's only got a flyer in the air. And it gains him that 1 life, which is extremely valuable here.
And it's not like you're worried about it dying or something.
And even if it does die, you get to draw a card off of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's not going to be able to block. Like, obviously, you want to hold that guy back if it is a required blocker, but I think it's unlikely that we're going to see any haste creatures from Jesse. So
an unspreed dance,
just the ramp for the dance, not even the 5/5 for the land, which will be a crime and a drain, which will set him to 2.
Okay.
And 18 for Jesse? No, just 17. Ooh, this is close. Jesse is inches away from closing this out.
Angelo pretty much needs an answer to the
Raven this turn.
Well, he can of course go to 3, so it's not guaranteed that but of course, if he could have been at 4.
He could have been at 4, exactly.
Which might have bought him an extra turn here.
And with the creatures that he currently has on board, it looks like he's going to scoop. That is 1/1.
Ooh, contemplating 7
Solving
here.
some mulligans here.
Angelo is probably...
I think that was
looks like they're both going to 6.
I didn't see a land in that hand, so...
That's a tough one to keep, for sure.
Didn't catch all of the cards. Maybe an eagle-eyed viewer can rewind and see, but I think that was a no-land hand. Angelo is also shuffling. Does that mean Angelo is also resolving? Jesse won the last match, so Angelo would be on the play.
We can see, of course, Angelo's mat there.
A sort of tongue-in-cheek reference.
This is the question that Magic Arena asks you every 15 games or so, and you better believe Angelo always slams a frowny face.
Yeah, I wonder what they use those metrics for. Like, I just don't know. All right.
Jesse running the Mystical Archive Approach of the Second Sun.
Both of them keeping 6 here. Yeah, that Approach of the Second Sun.
Yep, both players on 6. Angelo will be back on the play here and kicks us off with a Plains Go.
Notably, I feel like a keep of 6 maybe favors Angelo in this format. Usually, these sort of like aggressive creatures is favored in a 6 mull.
Yeah, in a mutual go to 6. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Just on rate, his creatures are going to have more power and toughness. So, and yeah, here we go. Pretty much
a lot of Jesse's cards combo with each other. So he has a Raven, but a Raven doesn't do anything without a Crime.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. Whereas Miriam is just a 2-mana 3/2.
Yes, exactly. Just a beater. An interesting quirk to Magic is if both players mull their first time or even future times, they can both agree to still stay at 7. Both players.
Oh wait, what?
Yeah, it is an allowed gameplay.
Interesting.
They just both agree that the first match was a draw, and they start a new one at 7.
Interesting.
It doesn't come up very often because one player, specifically Angelo, potentially in this format, might know that his deck is favored if they're both mulling to 6, so he might not agree to that. But it is something that Jesse or Angelo could have posed to the other player.
Meanwhile, these players going at lightning speed, and Angelo is laying on the hurt.
Bernishart says, "Don't tell people that," as the judge who
just doesn't want to deal with that stuff, I guess.
Right.
And yes, indeed, Anthong pointing out both players missing land number 3. Angelo finds it though, and
it's
continues
like
to curve out.
2-land start, even with the miss of a land, was much stronger than his, his opponents.
That's pretty much exactly what we were saying. What you were saying. Interesting.
Yeah.
The distinction between best of 3 and first to 2.
Yeah.
And I have to imagine that Angelo's just going to get the job done here.
Yeah, I get the feeling that this is going to be a very short match here. It's not necessarily happening yet, but the saddling the
Rambling Possum.
And swinging, getting an extra counter, swinging with the now the Bristleback Sentry to 4.
Yeah,
because you have a 4. It's
Jesse's pretty much just going to be chumping with his soul creature, which I can't quite make out.
One of the reasons why this Selesnya deck is one of the strongest in the set.
Yeah, of course.
Jesse,
and this is without playing any sort of bomb rare. You know, this is all. These are all just sort of random commons and uncommons.
Looks like a Bristlepack Sentry, not Bristlepack Sentry, a hard Bristle Bandit. Lots of bristles in this set.
Yeah.
Cross out was asking
hard bristle,
what
soft
Jesse
bristle.
Had.
Are you a hard or soft bristle?
I'm a hard bristle type bandit.
Hard bristle bandits really get your teeth that much more clean, you know.
That's right. What happened to that Miriam?
I think Jesse probably fractured identity'd it.
Oh,
maybe.
Interesting. Yeah. Definitely could have done that with his 2 green and white
non-Azorius
mana up. Not even 5 mana for the fracture identity. I guess he was just reading that Miriam, I think. So he's going to endless detour that, which will prevent the...
it's because it's only hexproof on Angelo's turn, so he was making sure that the possum was able to be targeted right now.
That makes sense. That'll prevent the Bristlepack Sentry from swinging, though he will be able to swing with the Miriam.
So Jesse gets to untap the bandit here as well. Yeah. So he has a blocker at least. And plays a desert.
He decided not to swing with the Miriam, though. So still at 9, holding him back.
Okay, so this is a swing for 5, so Jesse doesn't have to block quite yet.
Yeah. No force block there, and he probably doesn't want to, being stuck on mana as much as he is. I do see a Tyrant Scorn in his hand, though he doesn't have the mana up to cast it this turn.
Is that going to be enough?
I don't think so. That with another removal spell, maybe, but that Sterling Keykeeper is representing almost any blocker getting shut down here. So he's going to need removal spells. And unfortunately, removal spells were probably not the 2 biggest threats, the Possum and the Miriam.
Okay, Jesse's trying to figure a way out of this with likely just 4 mana available. Maybe, well, no, with the Tyrant Scorn, he would have essentially 5 mana available.
We are seeing a flicker of red with 2 pips, maybe a 5/4 flyer in his hand, but without the mana to cast it, it may just be too slow at this point in time.
I think even if he could cast it, it would still be too slow.
Yeah,
here.
that Terror of the Peaks coming in, but would not be enough here. Not even quite close to enough. Plotting something? No.
Nope. No,
Trying
plotting would be a death sentence here.
Plotting would be really bad.
I think there are just few ways to really swing back here. It would have to be 2 removal spells, I think.
It would have to be 2 removal spells. He could do tap Tyrant Scorn. If he had another instant speed spell, it would untap his Hard Bristle Bandit. So that untaps. So he has 3 available. If he has an instant speed removal spell on his next turn, he'll get an untap and a block.
Yeah. That would keep him alive at 2, essentially. Yeah.
But it's going to be tough here, I think, for Jesse
I see
to come back.
I see a Mourner Surprise there.
And if he does have the ability to stabilize, he...
okay.
There we go. So that will kill that.
Okay. Well, that was actually probably best case scenario.
That's probably
right
the best
there.
thing that he could have done.
A removal and a block.
A very good play there. Yeah, absolutely. Double removal spell. Now, notably, if he does have something that pumps his Hard Bristlepack Sentry to 4, he's in trouble here, especially
or just a Beaver or something.
Yeah. Like a Snakeskin Veil is lethal here, right? Because he can tap the Sterling Keykeeper to tap down his blocker.
Throw from the saddle would also just
lethal,
remove the blocker.
There's a bunch of things here that are very bad that we know Angelo has in his deck. So
we have to assume that he would have played those by now, though.
Exactly.
So it's likely not lethal this turn.
As tapped out as he is. Bristlepack only being able to attack if he controls a creature with power 4 or greater.
Including itself,
Including itself, yeah. For one of the first times in a little while, self-include on those big defender creatures.
Bighorn is not quite the mount that you want to see
here. Yeah.
Not bad, though.
No, not bad at all. Still missed a land drop. Both of them not having the mana here.
Angelo played a land that turn.
He did get a land that turn?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, it is a Ruthless Lawbringer.
Oh, okay.
I know. Those shiny cards. That is a ping, so Angelo will go to 18.
So, actually, losing the Hard Bristle Bandit there takes away Terror of the Peaks for an additional turn cycle.
At least he would need an untapped red mana next turn, and he does not have that right now. So
I'm sure he was not excited about
sacrificing that. I think that's probably what he was. I think that play style was pretty obvious to him when but he was like, I got to see if there's another way that I can keep my Hard Bristle to be able to resolve this creature, because it is sort of a win condition here for me. So he's swinging with the Bridled Bighorn.
That's a sheep. It was saddled by the sentry there.
Oh, yeah.
I think Jesse said go to 1. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so. Let's go to 1. And is that going to be the match?
And
it is the match.
Okay.
All right. Ben and Matt still playing theirs out.
They are. Wow.
Angelo taking that. Ben has to win his match in order to go to a round 3. Is that correct?
The Chumps have a chance to just close out here in round 2.